One time I was interviewing this young guy and I asked him the question if he's ever had any conflict with another team member or another manager, and if so, what steps did he take to rectify the situation? He proceeds to tell me, yeah, one time me and another line cook, we got into it over a server. So I'm like, okay, like, was it over an entree? Did he send it out wrong? Was the food delayed? Like, what was the nature of the issue that caused you to get into it with him? This dude tells me, oh, no, it was nothing like that. I was talking to Shorty, and he knew I was talking to her, so he proceeded to try to get at her, too. And honestly, I really wasn't feeling none of that. Then this fool followed up and said, to be honest with you, there really wasn't no rectifying the situation because they fired both of them. So after I triple lashed him, I just apologized for asking the question, told him I ain't had no mo, and thanked them for coming in. Because why would you tell me that? Another time, this young lady was interviewing for a hostess position. And so I asked her the question, was there any times that she can recount in which guests were upset because their table was taking too long or they didn't necessarily like where they were sat? And how did she go about making sure that they enjoyed the rest of their visit? She proceeds to tell me, yeah, one time it was this colored woman who was in my face because she was mad because I kept seating Caucasian women ahead of her, so she was calling me racist. I said, I'm sorry, who was upset? She was like, yeah, it was a colored woman. And so I said, what do you mean by colored? And she said, like blacks, like a black woman. And I said, you're comfortable saying that? She was like, yeah, what's the problem? And in that moment, I decided that, honestly, whatever they said she did that ish. Because there's no way you feel comfortable calling black people colored in this day and age. And I just told her it wasn't going to work, and I just got up and left the table. I ain't even wait for her to gather her stuff and walk her back out the door, because no. And then one time we had this line cook who was only with us for like a month or so. He had a shift one day. He came in, saw him come in, he clocked in, and then we just couldn't find him. He ended up walking off the shift. So naturally, we thought he quit. We had to move on. We had a really hard time getting a line cook or just staff in general, so we decided to host an open house. The day of the open house, I go into the lobby. I see this fool in the lobby. He's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? So I'm like, hey, my butt. Like, what happened to you? He was like, oh, no, I had some stuff going on that I had to take care of. For 2 weeks without communication? I hope you took care of that. I'm glad to see you. Take care of yourself. He like, wait, you not going to do my interview? Interview? What interview? I know that you are not applying for the same job that you abandoned 2 weeks ago without communicating with your managers, and you expect me to sit down at a table with an interview guide and interview you all over again for the position? I already know your work ethic, buddy. You're not getting the job. And he had the nerve to try to go over my head to the director as if they were just going to look at the situation and hire him back.
Welcome back to the channel, you guys. If you don't know me, my name is Portia, and I help you find remote jobs. And today, with us talking about all these crazy job stories, I need to know, do you have a crazy job story, you guys? I have one. My crazy job story is I used to work at a bank call center. I'm not going to say the name of the bank, but they're not in operation anymore. But two of the representatives I worked with, they were transferring customers' money into their accounts, and they got arrested at the actual call center, y'all. But that's crazy. Let me hear your crazy work stories down below. And as today's sponsor, I'm today's sponsor, you guys. Make sure to check out my website, FYIRemoteJobs.com, where I post job leads for free Monday through Friday, all vetted job leads, no degree required. And if you're really serious, you need to check out my school community, you guys. You can try it free for 7 days, and you get 25 job leads Monday through Friday. But remember, let me know, what's your crazy work story, and do you think you can top any of these? Let's get back into it, y'all.
I just clocked out of work so I wouldn't scream at somebody today because that's just the day I'm having. Sometimes I have to ID people for things that they don't think they need IDs for. For example, like Robitussin, NyQuil, DayQuil, stuff like that, right? This lady came up in line, right? And I was ringing her up. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I need to see your ID. Because quite literally, the computer will not let you keep scanning things until you scan a fucking ID. So I was just ringing this lady up and I scanned something and I was like, hey, I really do need to see an ID for this. She's like, what, do you want me to cough on you too? The next set of customers I rung up brought up 2 full carts of things. 2 full carts! So I started ringing them up, right? And they were not letting me ring up everything at once. They were handing me things one at a time and waiting until they saw the price on the screen to hand me the next one. It took me 30 minutes! And every few products or so, they'd be like, tell me how much this costs, right? And so I'd ring it up and I'd be like, hey, by the way, this is $3.28. They have 2 full carts of things. They're prepared to spend hundreds of dollars. right? And so I was like, yeah, this is $3.28. Void that out, put it back. I don't want it. If it's $3.28, I don't want it. It's 75% off! The next customer I had wanted some age-restricted products, right? And so I was ringing them up and I was like, hey, by the way, I need an ID if I can keep scanning things. $312.78! Cool! I still need your ID! There's a big sale at my work. How much are these t-shirts? Oh, you know, like every t-shirt has a price tag right on the front of it, so like it's whatever the price tag says. How much is this t-shirt? Oh, you know, like if you look at the price tag on the front of the shirt, it'll tell you how much it is. So how about this shirt? If you look at the price tag on the front, it'll tell you how much it is. What size is this shirt? If you look at the, you know, tag on the inside of the shirt, it'll tell you what size it is. So what size is this shirt? Shut up! Shut up. Excuse me, are gift cards on sale? Do you know how gift cards work? You load your money onto the cart. Do you think we could turn $30 into $60? No! I'm so happy that I have a car to scream in now, but I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm on my lunch break right now. I've got 15 minutes left. Then I have to go back in there.
So I got fired and it was dead ass wrong. So I'm gonna talk about it. I was out of town in Boston. I put my work group chat on Do Not Disturb, but the day before we left, I was like, you know what? I should just check it, see what's going on. I see someone has left the group chat and one of my bosses has removed someone from the group chat. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I text my coworker. She's like, yeah, sorry, I didn't want to text you while you were on vacation, but I got fired. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because there's only 4 employees. And she works a lot more than me. So I'm like, okay, I'm next. She's like, yeah, they made me work all day and then fired me at the very end of the day, which they had already done to one other person that they fired while I worked there. She's like, I don't own a business, but I'm pretty sure that's not how you fire someone. I text them and I'm like, hey, I saw the group chat. Is there something I need to be informed about? They say we'll meet tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, in the morning, because you're not about to play in my face like that. Nope, got the wrong one. You are not gonna make me work all day. And they're like trying to ask me about my trip. Like, let's just cut to the chase. Like, I already talked to I know what's going on. When I said that I had already talked to they were like, oh, we really wish that she wouldn't have reached out. So you wanted to blindside me? You wanted to blindside me. Truly not even listening to what they're saying. I'm busy like trying to get my key off of my key ring to give it back. Like, I'm done. I'm out of here. We don't need to chat. Their reasoning was just that they want to restructure and it's not working. And I'm like pretty sure in order to restructure, you have to have a structure to begin with. Like, it wasn't working because anytime you asked us what things we should do to make things run smoother or make our lives easier, it would never be implemented. You can't change your expectations of your employees without telling them. Otherwise, how are they supposed to know? It's elementary school communication skills. Like, ding dong, we can't read your mind. You obviously thought about this for a while. I would have had a lot more respect for you, or any respect for you, if you would have just said that and gave us notice or time to change. Instead, you've just been pretending like everything's fine. Meanwhile, you know you're gonna fire us all in the back of your head. That's fucked up. We are not the reason why it's not working. We're your employees, will do whatever you say, but instead, like, they're so focused on their other businesses when the first business isn't even running like a well-oiled machine. Perhaps that's why it's not working. They also had the audacity to say to keep this hush. Excuse me? I've never hushed a day in my life, and it's not gonna start today. So prepare to be sick of me because this is my job now.
One time, one of my favorite team members came to me and told me that she was finally putting in her 2 weeks because she had gotten into a program that she really wanted to get into. I was super excited for her because we had this conversation multiple times and I knew that it was something that she really wanted to do. So for HR purposes, anytime that somebody needed to take a leave or anytime that somebody wanted to resign, then they had to fill out a form so that we could send it to HR and keep it in her file. So she fills it out. I take it back to the office and I lay it on the desk for the GM. Now, a couple videos ago, I told you about this type A manager that I really didn't get along with. Well, this story is involving her again. So a little while later that day, she comes storming into the dining room with the resignation form in her hand. So she comes up to me and she goes, I need to know who accepted Ashley's resignation. So I said, well, you have the paper in your hand with my signature on it. So you know that I accepted the resignation and you're asking me specifically about it. So you know it was me. Is there something wrong with it? Did she fill it out incorrectly? Is it missing information? Like, what's your issue? And she rolls her eyes and goes, ugh, and she like storms off. So I'm like, girl, whatever, because I'd figure if it was that important, then you'd use your big girl words so we could talk like adults and figure out whatever issue you think exists. And she really went out of her way to avoid me for the rest of the day like it was some type of punishment, but in reality, it was a blessing. Hallelujah. So the next day we had a scheduled managers meeting where we go over like financials, operations, staffing, that type of thing. And so they get to me and ask me if I have anything on the list that I want to discuss. So I'm like, yeah, I wanted to, just remind everyone that Ashley put in her resignation. She's going to be leaving on this date. The GM is like, okay, well, before we get to that, let's just sidestep for a minute. So I'm like, sure. What's up? And so she's like, I just want to kind of check in, like, how are you? Like just with the transition and joining the team and integrating with us and doing things the way that we usually do it here. Like, how are you feeling? Like, how are you? How's everything going? So I'm like, this is weird. But I'm like, everything's been interesting so far. Unfortunately, we have as many opportunities as we do wins, but I'm sure that if we work together, the skills will tip a little bit more into our favor. Giving her corporate answers because she's asking me stupid corporate questions. And she goes on like this for another 4 minutes, like asking me the same question just in different ways. So eventually I'm annoyed and I'm like, hey, did something happen that's causing you to ask me these questions? And if so, would you like to just go ahead and attack it head on so that we can find a solution so that it no longer presents as an issue? What's going on? Type A jumps in and says, this whole resignation thing is going to be a problem for us. I don't know what you were thinking, but I would have never accepted that resignation right now. So I'm like, what? What do you mean that you would have never accepted the resignation? We don't have a choice. She goes, well, if you were aware of all of the events we have coming up soon, then you would know that now is not the best time to lose our strongest server. So I said, well, for one, I'm very aware. And for two, if the success of these events are based solely on the fact of Ashley being there or not, then that means that we as managers, we have a lot of work to do. I said we have ample time before these events even begin. We can go over some key training points with the rest of the team. We can also hire and train someone and bring them in. And if for some reason we can't find the perfect candidate to join the team by then that means that we have to just pad the schedule a little bit with a few extra servers, and managers have to be hands-on at these events. And so she goes, well, we wouldn't have to do any of that if you just denied the resignation in the first place. So I said, well, who am I to deny someone to move on with their life? And she says, well, I guess it all depends on if you're a team member or are you a manager. So I say, I manage a restaurant. I don't manage people's lives. I don't know if you're aware, but this is just a stepping stone for some people. Some people just need to do this job to put food on the table. This is my career. This is your career. This is what we chose. And I think that we have to know that and we have to respect that. We're going back and forth and it's starting to get a little bit heated. And then the GM finally decides to step back into the conversation. She goes on about having a passion for what we do, and what that looks like is making sure that we're putting the restaurant first, and we'll have to sit down with Ashley to see if there's something that we can work out and push her resignation day back, When she finished talking, I said, yeah, you guys can do that and just let me know how it all works out for you, but I can't be a part of that conversation. To which she responds that we have to be a team and we have to present a united front, and the team shouldn't know that there's a divide when a decision is made. And I said, she's going to have to. Ashley's going to have to know that we are divided on this topic. There's no way that I'm going to stop her from doing what it is that she really wants to do and hold her hostage because I need someone to help me drop a few extra Caesar salads on the table. I'm just not doing it. And they went. And they had a conversation with Ashley. And after that conversation, we never saw Ashley again. And we were down somebody for the events anyway. Restaurant managers take themselves way too seriously.
So what do you guys think about this one? How in the world did they expect her to not accept somebody's resignation? They are quitting. You no longer have any say over what they do. These jobs, y'all, I tell you, they act crazy, and that's why you need to always keep one in your back pocket. Remember to visit FYIRemotejobs.com. The link is in the description to join my school community where you get premium job leads. And make sure if you want to support any of the creators listed in the video, they are listed down below. Let's go to the next one, y'all.
Bro, I just had an interview with Aritzia like 5 minutes ago. Tell me why that shit was honestly one of the worst things I've ever done in my life. First of all, I was stressed out because I just came from school and I had to come from school and go straight to this interview, and then I had practice after. So I was like, I had to get my bag for practice and all this stuff. And I was just trying to get my timing straight up. I just left the house with bullshit. I'm wearing a cardigan and black tee underneath. You guys can't see, but it's like a black tee, black tank top, and then there's cardigan, and then there's hijab, and then some blue jeans. Okay, basic, right? And I'm also wearing Birkenstock socks. I have to interview at 1:45. Okay, I pull up 1:40. I'm like, hey, I have a meet and greet, whatever it's called. And they go, okay, perfect. Just wait. This lady's talking to this. My manager's talking to her. I said, okay, cool. And the person was right there. They were sitting right there, on the couch, right there. And I could hear them. And the girl that is interviewing, the manager, she's so put together. She got her nails done. She has a head to toe cute outfit. Her makeup's on fleek. She has I thought she was a manager at first because she was just so put together. I was like, there's no way I'm competing with this girl right now. No way. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I just brushed it off. I was still listening, and she was like so energetic. She's like talking with confidence. I'm like, bro. I text my friend, there, bro, there. I just go, yo, I'm not getting this job. Okay, she gets up. She goes, okay. I sat down. I had my freaking resume too, and I'm like, okay, cool. So like, hi, what's your name? I go tell her my name. She's like, is that your resume? I'm like, yeah, it's my resume. She goes, okay, thank you. Gave it to her. She goes, okay, tell me about yourself. Fucking hate this question. I hate this question. I'm like, so I do this, and that. I work at this currently, and yeah, I didn't know what to say, bro. I did not come prepared whatsoever, because I generally did. I applied a month ago. I totally forgot I applied, and I was like, I wasn't gonna work at Aritzia because everyone's known for Aritzia being like, everyone has to be like fine as hell. You have to be like, your outfit has to be on fleek, and all this BS that I don't have. So I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go there and let's pray to God, bro. I'm just gonna pray to God that I get it. If I don't, it's whatever. The lady that was interviewing me, her vibe and my vibe were not clashing. And she's like, why do you want to work at Aritzia? And I'm like, so I actually come here like every once in a while. I told her that I love this place. It's so aesthetic and nice and cool. I just blabbed my ass out because I didn't know what the frick to say. I knew I was done for when I saw the lady before me. Oh my God, guys, the worst part. Are you guys ready for it? The worst part. She gives me back my resume. She gives me back my resume. Who gives back a resume? I'm done for. That's the last sign I knew. And when I was getting up to go leave, it was so awkward. Oh my God. Lasted like 5 minutes, guys, because I'm telling you, like, she did not like me at all. But yeah, hate my life.
I was suspended from my retail job because a customer lied and said that I poisoned her child. Let me set the scene. This woman comes in with her child. She orders a cheese toastie with an S, not a Z. A cheese toastie and a blueberry muffin. I said, oh, okay. Is that everything? She said, yeah, but can you have the toastie cut in half? I said, yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Is there any hot drinks for you today? She said, oh, actually, can I have 2 almond milk hot chocolates? I said, okay, cool. Young child there. I said, oh, do you want me to heat it less for her because she's a child? She said, oh, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Is that everything? Yeah, cool. She walks onto the other side. I go into the fridge where there's only dairy-free milk in this fridge. You cannot put normal milk in this fridge, okay? So I've gone in, and not many people at this time didn't buy almond milk. Yeah, so the almond milk wasn't open, so I had to open a fresh one. I've taken it out of the fridge. I've taken the top off. This was Outpro milk as well. This is when the place had some money, all right? I've taken the lid off. I've poured it into the jug that's been labeled. You have to label each jug with different milks. At this stage, it was brown. So I was using a brown jug with the brown zip tie on it, and I'm pouring my almond milk in. I'm doing this on the side of the coffee machine that the customer is standing at. So she can watch me. She can see me doing this, okay? Cool. I've poured it in, I've made the drink, I've given it to her. I've also given her a toastie, and I've put her blueberry muffin on a little plate with a napkin, and I've given it to the child. Cool. About 10 minutes later, another family member comes in and buys exactly the same drink. So the almond milk hot chocolate. I said, okay, cool. Is there anything else? She said, no, that's everything. Thank you very much. I've made the drink. I've given the drink to her. So that's 3 almond milk hot chocolates that I've made for them. Okay. Same drink, bear in mind. Fast forward a week, my big boss, is his last day. We've all got him a card, we've all signed it. I am the person to go and give said manager his card. So I go up to him, I give him the card. He's like, oh, thank you so much. This is a little bit awkward though. I'm gonna have to call you in for a meeting. I said, oh, okay, no problem. What's this about? So, oh, I've got a complaint about you poisoning a customer. I said, me? Poisoning? Bear in mind, I've been there for at least 5 years already. No complaints about me. I never call in sick. Like, I'm a good worker, all right? Sitting in that room, he was like, oh, do you want to read the email? Cool. This woman had the audacity to lie and say that she saw me using whole milk, the blue cap milk, dairy milk, okay? She watched me make her hot chocolate with normal milk, and she gave it to her child, and her child has now been poisoned. I said to my manager, yo, I promise you now for free that I know for a fact that I use almond milk. She watched me use the almond milk. We even watched the CCTV, and you see me take the almond milk out, take the lid off, get the brown jug, use it, pour it in there. You watch her, look at me, make the drink. You see that I've given you the drink. 3 of the same drink have been made. Why would I use dairy milk if I was using the same milk for each free drink. People are wicked. They're evil. This woman wanted me to get fired. The thing is, actually, I don't even know if she wanted me to get fired. I think she just wanted a freebie, because when my manager responded to her and said, oh, okay, we've suspended the person and we've given her a course she has to do to make sure she knows about the allergen process, the woman didn't respond because she didn't get what she wanted. She didn't get a free cinema ticket. She didn't get a free drink. She didn't get any form of free substance, so she ignored it. You're telling me that your child is severely lactose intolerant and you're going to buy a cheese toastie with dairy cheese, a blueberry muffin that may contain dairy, and then you are definitely buying a hot chocolate that has cocoa powder which has dairy in it, and you're gonna blame me and say that you saw me with your own eyes use dairy. Yeah, people are evil. And I survived nearly 7 years of retail. Personally, I can actually be grateful because I have the patience of a saint.
So out of all of these stories, which one do you think is the craziest? I personally still think it's the employer not wanting to accept an employee's resignation. Like, what don't you get about that? They don't give us 2 weeks if they're going to lay us off or fire us. So why? Like, how? I just don't even understand the thinking, you guys. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more topics about this crazy economy. And I hope to see y'all later. Bye.